When the CMOs of brands like Expedia, HubSpot, and L'Oreal say they're rewriting their marketing strategies for AI search, this is not a trend, this is a survival plan. They, like you, know that their customers are using tools like ChatGPT, Gemini, Google's AI overviews, and Grok to find new products and brands to buy from. And of course, they know they want these tools recommending them. In fact, the HubSpot CEO recently called the changes in traffic patterns coming from Google's AI overviews a traffic apocalypse. So clearly, AI search is something that marketers cannot afford to ignore. So today we're going to peel back the curtain and show exactly what some of the most proactive CMOs are doing about this new shift to AI search, and most importantly, lay out a plan that you can follow to make sure that your brand benefits from this shift in user behavior. Okay, so firstly, who are we? Well, my name's Tim. I'm the founder of a digital marketing agency called Exposure Ninja, and we've just recently been named the UK's most innovative SEO and AI search agency. We've been pioneers in this area of AI search, and that means we've got to talk to thousands of the brightest marketers in the world about exactly this topic. That gives us a really unique perspective, as does our work on things called AI search audits, where we analyze brands' visibility in AI search and map them out a plan to increase that visibility. In fact, demand for these has been so high that we've had to start a waiting list, which honestly just pains me to say, but there we go. In fact, in just a few weeks, we've carried out AI search audits for a FTSE 250 company, a $50 million software company, a fast-growing $50 million tech firm, and a German DAX top 30 brand. They all came to us asking for help because they can see that this new era of AI search is going to be profoundly different, and they want to make sure that their brands are well positioned to survive and thrive. And really, we're starting to see a bit of a two-tier thing develop, where some CMOs are really switched onto this. They see brands like HubSpot unveiling entirely new marketing strategies designed to optimize for AI answers. They see brands like Walmart adapting to AI personal shopping agents by evolving their infrastructure and marketing to support this shift. And they say, what about us? What do we need to be doing? How do we make sure we take advantage of this rather than get left behind? But then there are the other group who don't even know that this stuff is happening. They're using ChatGPT all day themselves. They can see their own user behavior is shifting. They even know that their friends and family are using AI way more than traditional search, but they haven't yet put two and two together and figured out how disruptive this is going to be for the brand. Well, the good news, of course, is that it's not too late. We're still relatively early in AI search. And here at Exposure Ninja, we're on the very cutting edge of what's going on in the space, and we see how quickly it's evolving. So here's our advice to any CMO who is considering adapting your strategy to include AI search optimization. Really, it comes down to figuring out three things. Firstly, where your brand is at with your visibility in AI tools. Secondly, what you need to do to improve that visibility. And then thirdly, how to track and adapt to things as they change. Simple. There you go. Thanks for watching. But okay, practically, what do you need to do right now? Well, my recommendation is to spend some time getting stuck in and understanding this space. This is a big enough shift in user behavior that it's worth marketers and even company leadership, I think, at any level, spending a small amount of time to just understand how the space works. Particularly if you're in marketing, there is a new set of tools, a new set of strategies that you're going to have to get to grips with. Even if you're using an external company like Exposure Ninja to do this work for you, you need to understand the basics so that you know exactly where you stand and you know how to analyze the responses that you're getting from the team. In fact, one of the best things that you can do is get your hands on a tool like Peak.ai, one of this new breed of AI search tools that really helps you understand your brand's visibility and how you're doing against your competitors. We're going to be doing a bit of a tour of Peak.ai so I can explain some of the new terminology and the things that you're going to have to get to grips with as this new era of AI search continues to develop. By the way, thanks to Peak.ai for sponsoring this video. You can check it out using a link on the screen or in the description. Now, with Peak, and like many of these AI search tools, there are really three things that we have to think about. First is our visibility. So how we're showing up versus our competitors. How often these AI tools are talking about and recommending our brand versus other people's brands. The next thing is the prompts and responses. So these are the particular terms, the questions that we want these AI tools to be recommending us for. And then thirdly are the sources and the citations, the websites that these tools are referencing when they're putting these answers together. So we're going to go through each of these different areas in turn, and I'm going to show you how to understand them and most importantly, how to influence them as well. So we're going to do a bit of an analysis today, a demo using HubSpot. So we're going to pretend that we're either marketing for HubSpot or that we're one of HubSpot's competitors trying to understand how to chip away at their lead. So when you open Peak.ai, you get this overview, this sort of dashboard area. This gives you a bit of visibility straight up at the top. Visibility is a percentage score that shows you how visible you are for the prompts that you are tracking. And we're going to come back to prompts in just a second. We can see that HubSpot is the most visible of any of these CRM tools and has been consistently over the last 7 days. We can also see how that visibility has changed over time, and we can get a sentiment score, which again we're going to come back to a little bit later on. Now, visibility is great and having good visibility is awesome, but visible for what? Well, we need to choose the particular prompts that we want to be talked about in. So that's where we go over to the prompt section. Think of prompts a little bit like the keywords. What are the search terms that we want our brands to show up in? So you choose your own prompts in Peak. You choose the prompts that are most important to your brand. For example, HubSpot, best CRM for a marketing agency. That might be a priority for them. Peak will also suggest some more prompts, so you don't have to come up with everything yourself. Which marketing automation tools integrate with WordPress? Yeah, that sounds pretty good, so I'm going to add that to my tracking. What Peak then does in the background is it runs these prompts on different AI tools to see where you're showing up, how often, and in what sort of context. And you can filter between different AI tools. So at the moment, we're just looking at responses on Perplexity, but we could switch this out to ChatGPT, AI overviews, or we could just go for all models, and then it's going to give us an average of our visibility across all of the tools that we're tracking. Now, as well as seeing your overall visibility in the dashboard, you can also see your visibility for individual prompts. Best CRM software for a marketing agency, for example, HubSpot has 100% visibility, i.e. it showed up in every single response to this prompt across all models that Peak ran during this time period. We can also see the sentiment, because of course we don't want to just be referenced, but referenced as a terrible example in our space. We want to know that we are seen in positive light. So you can either have positive sentiment, neutral sentiment, or negative sentiment. And if your brand is being referenced with negative sentiment, you really want to diagnose what are the issues, what are the reasons that these AI tools are talking about you in a negative way, because that can indicate a content gap. You might want to publish some more content about whatever is being spoken about in a negative light. Let's talk about citations and sources, one of the most important areas of AI search. We're just here on Perplexity, and I'm going to ask Perplexity, what's the best sales and marketing software for SaaS businesses? What Perplexity is going to do is go and run some background web search. It's going to find a whole bunch of content on different websites, and it's going to compile the information from those different websites to put together an answer. Here is the answer. So there's lots of sources that have been cited in this response, and if we click here, we can see all of them, including HubSpot. Now, I know what you're thinking, and you're absolutely right. Therefore, Tim, if we want to get recommended in this response, we probably need to be seen in these websites. That is exactly right. So how do we actually do this? Well, that's where Peak.ai comes in. If you click on the sources tab, you can see the top sources for all of the AI responses. Here are the websites that are cited most often across all of these models for all of the prompts that we're tracking. Okay, we can get a bit more granular, but let's stay at this level for the time being. We can see then across these three models, so ChatGPT, Perplexity, and Google's AI overviews, that Reddit is the most cited website in those responses. So if we want to get some visibility across these three channels for these types of prompts, we know we need to get some visibility in Reddit. What you'll notice when you do this is that typically websites fall into a few different categories. We've got the user-generated content / social sites like Reddit and YouTube. We've We've got some authority type publications like PC Mag, Sales Flare, and Expert Market. And then we've typically got brands' own sites like HubSpot, Salesforce, and Monday.com's owned websites. This is really useful information for the content marketing and digital PR teams because they now know which websites to go after to make sure you're being recommended more often in these AI tools. But you can get a bit more surgical than this. Let's say that you wanted to improve your visibility for best CRM software for a marketing agency, and you didn't just want to do that across all AI models, you wanted to do that for ChatGPT. Well, you go up to the filter, you'd choose ChatGPT, and then you would click on this prompt. And this is going to show you the domains that have most often been cited in ChatGPT's answer. So contentmavericks.com, expertmarket.com, and so on. But we can go even deeper. We can see the particular URLs that are most often being used on each of these domains. Here we go. 7 best CRMs for marketing agencies 2025. What do we do with this information? Well, the digital PR team might have a look at this article and reach out to the journalist or writer and say, yeah, I noticed that you've written this article about the 7 best CRMs for marketing agencies in 2025. I bet that you're planning one for 2026, and I'd love to talk about how we could be featured in that article. Sure, you're not going to get featured in every single one of these, but this gives you a bit of a hit list that you can go out to if you want to get your brand mentioned on the sort of websites that these AI tools are pulling from to give their responses. Okay, so beyond investing in a tool like Peak.ai and sticking your brand in and having a play to see how you're doing against your competitors, what do you really need to do? Well, the first thing to do is build an AI search plan. This is one of the things that we do for our clients at Exposure Ninja. When they come to us looking for help with this, we do a full AI search audit where we'll break down not only their visibility, but how their current content is showing up in these AI tools. We'll do the competitor analysis, and we'll put together a really detailed plan that they can run either with their internal team, with the team at Exposure Ninja, or most often a combination of the two to improve their visibility and sentiment in these AI tools. Having a defined plan like that is a really important first step. Otherwise, you can find yourself being pulled between different things, not really knowing what to focus on. This new area can feel so overwhelming, so it's great to have a clear, structured, step-by-step plan that you can then take to other people in the organization to get them bought in as well. If you'd like to work with Exposure Ninja on developing an AI search plan, then you absolutely can, although, like I said earlier, there is a bit of a wait list, unfortunately. So contact us through the Exposure Ninja website or via the email on the screen to do that. Of course, having a plan is better than having no plan, but it's not quite as good as implementing a plan. And it's really important that you build some of the strategies for AI search visibility into your digital marketing for 2026 and beyond. We can help you with this if you like. This is, of course, what we do. And of course, you can check out the other videos and podcasts on our channel to see exactly what you need to do. But this is an amazing time in digital marketing. We're looking at the dawn of a totally new era of search. SEO has been such a dominant source of traffic for so many businesses because Google has been the starting point for so much of the world's internet usage. But we're now seeing those usage patterns start to shift. Even within Google, AI search results are more prominent. And when AI overviews appear, organic click-through rate drops. This means that we need to adapt to this new era. But the great news is that the CMOs and marketers that take advantage of this and build their strategy around the direction of travel can really stand to gain. We're still early enough that there is first mover advantage here, and this is a land grab opportunity, and we see it day in, day out with our clients. I'm really excited about this, and I hope you are too. So don't forget to go and check out Peak.ai, and of course you can contact the team at Exposure Ninja if you need some help implementing this stuff for your brand. Until next time, see you soon.